Good afternoon. All right, today I wanted to try some V60. I'm going to use the Hario, but since my coffee that I just purchased last week on the 20th was when this one was roasted, and this one's the Ethiopian Hambala Buku. I think that's how you say it, and this is an Onyx coffee. Tasting notes: apricot, elderflower, black tea, and Meyer lemon. So this is my fourth box. I've tried several of the others. What I didn't do on the others, some of them I just used on the Breville and ground it with the DF64 instead of using it pour over. I don't do pour over too often, but when I get new beans I like to try it. I just haven't done it with the other 4 boxes. I think I did one of them that way, but usually when I get a new one I open it up. Of course we have to smell it. Oh yes, very nice. And this one is very different color because it is a light roast. You're going to see the very light beans. They look almost dried, but they're very light brown. So the V60 I'm going to use today was from Lance Hedrick's video that I watched, and he uses the 1:17 ratio, and he said between 15 and 25 grams to start with. Any of those ratios you can use, so I prefer a less amount myself, especially at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going to try 15 grams to start with. So let's go ahead and I do use the Airscapes. This one's a little bit bigger. I do have a 10 ounce, but it has my Good Brothers in it. So for the Onyx, we're going to use the larger one. And if I really like it, I could go get another bag and just add to it, right? Yes, and I do see a lot of chaff or fines, I guess you call it, since this is a light roast. But yes, that does smell really good. It was roasted on the 20th, and today is the today's the 30th. We are almost into October. So yeah, that's that. Set that off to the side. We will measure out 15 grams of coffee. Let's do this. 15 grams. And I have my, Stagg Kettle. Well, it looks like it shut off, but it must have just shut off, so let's preheat that up while I'm doing this. Get the water nice and hot. Now I did notice couple different tips from several different people, but with Lance's video anyway, he said you can preheat your Hario by removing the lid of your Stagg and setting it on top to get it nice and hot. But being plastic, I haven't noticed that I've had to do that. It gets pretty hot, or stays pretty hot for me. I did like his little tip though. If you have a lid or something between pours to keep the heat in, that's a neat tip. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it, but I'm going to at least attempt it. All right, we're at 15 grams, and I am going to use the hand grinder since I'm not sure with the DF64 what a good coarse grind would be for this type of coffee. So that's done. Pour this in here. I have this is a Wright St. Anthony's grinder. And I have it set at a, what did I do? Oh, I put it at a 25. It might be a little coarse, but we will see what they look like. Why did I unscrew that? It needs to go into the bottom. All right, let's put the beans in there, and you're going to get to see me grind some coffee by hand. Not my favorite thing to do, but I've noticed the more I've used this, the easier it is to turn the wheel. So let us get started with that and get that ground up, and then we will heat up our paper and such. All right, I just remembered I forgot something to hold on to that with because it slips. I'll grab that. There we go. Just another little tip that I've learned. Because my hands are pretty weak, but if you have one of these, they're like rubber, silicone. That's what I grip this with. I guess I should put my mic back on. Now maybe you can hear me. Anyways, this is a silicone grip. Hold on to because it makes it easier. It doesn't slip around. All right, so make sure that's on. And I'm going to time myself just because I've not done that before and see how long it takes me to grind this coffee. Okay, well, I'm going to have to do the hip thing, Mike. My timer didn't start, so I guess we're not timing it. We're just going to grind it. There we go. Somebody else can count. Let's see how much this goes. It's stuck. This is a woman grinding coffee with a hand grinder. And that was 15 grams of the Onyx Ethiopian. I'm going to try that today and see if I am surprised by any flavors. Sometimes if you put it on a gripper, you can do it this way too. I've seen some of the nicer grinders you could sit on your countertop and do that. Wow, I'm just not holding it very good, am I? We're almost there. It's a workout. Okay, breather. Usually my husband steps in, but he's at work right now. Mike told me to put it on my hip, and it does seem to help. But 15 grams, you would think would be easy. All right, guys, I need a breath. You're probably seeing the steam from my fellow. All right, I think we're almost there. I'm getting my workout today. There we go. Wow, guess it takes a while. And maybe switching hands. Although I'm weaker on my left hand, so I shouldn't do that. I'm gonna rest for a minute. You guys are probably all laughing at me. All right. I should be almost there. But every time I go to turn it, I still feel some in there. So I know it's not done. $15 grams of Ethiopian in the middle right hand grinder. It's taking forever. All right, now I'm feeling it. All right, that's done. Woo! What a workout, guys. I haven't done that in a while. I was up at the lake the last time I did that. It's a couple weeks ago. All right, let's see what that looks like. All right. Now we can heat our paper. Wow. Well, that looks pretty fine. Oh, but it smells amazing. And that was a 25. Well, we're going to try it anyway. All right, let me get my paper ready. So I use just the Hario papers. And I guess I need a cup to put it in, right? Behind me. Let's just use one of the not neutrals. If it fits. I think it'll fit. Yeah, I think it'll work. Because we're only going to do, what was it? 1:17 ratio at 15 grams is 255, I think, is the total amount of water that I want to use. All right, so what I like to do is fold it in half once. And then one more time. Oops, did that wrong. Make sure it's flat. All right. And then that way. Just like to let it sit in the bottom. And the Hario does have a pretty big hole. I'm looking forward to getting it's called the Lily Dripper. Be getting that one in. So let's heat this up with my kettle. Get the paper taste off. Just get that nice and wet. Let it flat in there. Here we go. There we go. Let that drip out. And then we'll put the coffee in there. Set this over here. Alrighty, so I think we're about ready. By the way, I use third wave water. We have an osmosis system, and I had 1 pack of that, and it's the classic profile for third wave. And I noticed a difference between that and just using the plain water. And I think the flavors come out a little more. Alright, so let's see what we got here. I have to clean that out. I can put this off here. I don't see here. Let's turn this on. And make sure we're getting the 15 grams of coffee. That looks really fine. Maybe that's why it took so long to grind. I might have to go up on that coarse grind, because that's almost like powder. Oh, 14. Come on. There it is, 15. Well, I used it all. So I didn't have to measure. All right, and so I take a little stick and just kind of get some ridges in there. Make sure it's level. Like a little divot in the middle. And we start out with 50 grams of water for the first pour, and then I'll start my timer. Give it a swirl. Set it back down. I wait about 30 seconds to 35, no more than 45 for the first pour. Get my kettle ready again. I put it at 210. It's holding at 210, 212, right around there. Okay, get ready for the next pour of 50. For some reason my kettle is leaking. I'll swirl that one more time. Not sure why that's leaking. You have to be fairly quickly with that. It's drawn down a little bit. Oops. Go ahead. Why did that do that? One more time. We're at 1:20. And then I'll put the rest of it in at a complete roll. What did I say? 255? Something like that. It's getting pretty full. There we go. 2 right there. Let's see how long that takes to draw down. And I do take one more spin just to make sure that it's all mixed in and it goes down. It's going to be a nice cup. So now we just wait. While I'm waiting, let me grab a towel here and dry this up. I don't know where that water was leaking out of the kettle. Maybe I've got the lid on the wrong way and it was tilted. When I tilted it, I spilled it. Now we're at 2 minutes. I think this is going to take a lot longer. I think the most they said was like 3.5 minutes to 4 minutes. So we're halfway there. It does look really fine. So definitely going to have to change my grind size a lot coarser. So I double check it when I go to do it and make sure I go down to the 0 point and start over and make sure that the number's correct. Because I think that's been my struggle lately, is getting coarse grinds, even with the hand grinder. I've done it on my Smart Grinder Pro. It's in the pantry right now. And I use it for cold brew, so I've been able to get some coarse grinds with that. But see, we're pretty much almost down at 3 minutes. And I got my spoon here. So this is the light roast. We're going to put the box here. Ethiopia. Tasty nuts again. Apricot, elderflower, black tea, and Meyer lemon. So let's see if we're going to get there. That is almost done. We're at 3:30 right now. And I'm using the time more. It has a scale on it, which I love, for pour over especially, because then you can watch it. Can't afford the Akaya. $200 for a scale. I can't see me doing that. We're at 4 minutes and we're just about to the bottom of the cone. So I'm gonna say there really wasn't a bed of grounds, maybe just a tad on the bottom. 4 minutes and 10 seconds, and we're just finishing up, I think. Ooh, my cup is running over. Wow. I used the biggest one I had too. And we're gonna call that done. Let me grab another cup just to be safe. I don't want to get it all over my scale. We're gonna call that done at 4.5 minutes. Yeah, there was just very little there, but that is a full cup of coffee. Let's stop the timer. And it's hot, of course, so let's transfer it over here. Woo! I'm gonna have to let that cool down a bit. So let me show you these. I don't know if you can see that or not, but see how fine that is? That is just way too fine. I'm gonna have to probably double what I did just to get a coarse grind out of that one. Maybe that's why it took so long to grind. But let's cool this off a bit. I do want to taste it. Let's see if I can do this without spilling it. It's going to be hot. Even the cup is hot. You wouldn't think it gets that hot, but 210 degrees is pretty hot. I'm going to use my little silicone mat to hold the cup so I don't burn myself. All right, my first Ethiopian ever. Very smooth. I'm still getting my tasting. Definitely black tea. I was just going to say it kind of tastes like tea. I don't get any of the apricot or elderflower, but like I said, it probably needs to cool off a little bit as I make a mess everywhere. Where's my napkins? Over here. Grab one. And the cup I used probably keeps the heat in. This is when you want to do cuppings, right? Oh, and I was going to buy James Hoffman's spoon sets that he had. Put it in my cart. I went back to it, maybe it was in the evening that I did it, and then I think I woke up the next morning and went and looked, and they were sold out. So I was like, okay, no spoons for me. But they were kind of rainbow color spoons. They're very fancy looking, like he would say. All right, let me try this again. I could drink that by itself. Yeah, I've not been disappointed with any of the Onyx coffees as of yet. My technique needs to be worked on, I think, in grinding. And then this thing here, I've done it about 6 times, not with any luck. And I think the first few times was because of the coffee I was using. It was old coffee. So I just need to get the technique down on this as well, but it's a daily practice. So I'm going to enjoy this coffee, try to drink it down a little bit, maybe put it in a different cup. Cheers, guys. But that's kind of what I tend to do when I'm doing my pour over. I like to experiment with all the coffee stuff. See you next time.